Hello, I'm Gary C. Johnson. Here in the Bluegrass, we look at a team's record to see if it's a good team. Our team has several multi-million-dollar verdicts, and in 2002, our team set the record for the largest personal injury verdict in the state of Kentucky. It's still the record. No other law firm has even come close to it.
GaryCJohnson.com 800-337-4002.
Gary C. Johnson is a personal injury attorney practicing in Pikeville, Hazard, and Central Kentucky. You can reach him at 1-800-337-4002. Life is a journey, and everyone deserves all the happiness that this life has to offer. That's why attorney Gary C. Johnson created a weekly radio program almost 20 years ago to look at ways that we can improve our relationships, our health, and most important, our frame of mind. You know, by having the right information, our choices can be easier, and so can our happiness. Welcome to this edition of Simply Life with Gary C. Johnson.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt, and this radio show was created by my dear friend who sits across from me, Gary C. Johnson. Good to see you.
Isn't it wonderful, my friends, to be here? And today we are going to talk about getting into arguments.
Wait a minute, Gary. I thought arguments were bad for us and something that we should never do.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
But there's a lot of people that enter into them.
Well, it's a time when people may be disagreeing right now.
What do we hope to do by entering into an argument? Do we really believe that we're going to change the other side's opinion?
Well, maybe we can get them to understand how smart we are.
So,
maybe they would just roll over and say, boy, you're a genius. What do you think?
So if the whole world would just know how smart I am and that I could set everybody straight. I like that. You
know, when you talk about you can't win on an argument, you got to go back to the old Dale Carnegie book.
Genius. Yeah, I agree with you.
So Dale Carnegie says when it comes to an argument, welcome the disagreement. If there's some point you haven't thought about, be thankful if it is brought to your attention. Perhaps disagreement is your opportunity to be corrected before you make a serious, stupid mistake.
And lose a friend, right?
Yeah. So listen to the other party and see if there's any true merit to what they're saying, and if there is, agree with it and move on.
Yeah.
That's his first suggestion. Now, what's his second one, which we've talked about this many times, about that first instinct we have is to be a little you-know-what?
Oh, isn't it, though? Isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie says, distrust your first instinctive impression. Our first natural reaction is in a disagreeable situation is to be defensive. Be careful. Stay calm and watch out for your first reaction. It may be you at your worst, not your best. And it is always you at your worst.
You know, now that you've told me this stuff, I look back over my life, I can tell you dozens of times that on any subject I have said, I know I'm right, I'd bet my life on the fact I'm right, only to find out I was completely wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's been all kinds of times.
And again, we're talking about some suggestions that Dale Carnegie in his book has about how you can keep from arguing. Okay?
Okay.
Here's the next one. Control your temper. Remember, you can measure the size of a person by what makes him or her angry.
So we should be able to listen to what anyone has to say without losing our temper or our own true beliefs, right?
Years ago, I mean, you're probably talking 50 years ago, somebody had told me to never trust somebody that gets in a fight with an inanimate object.
Yeah.
So if any of you ever noticed anyone fighting with something that is inanimate, it won't work the way they want it to work or whatever, so they get in a big fight with it.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you ever done that, my friends?
You're not going to move it.
It's not going to respond to you. It's not going to change. So
you can kick and scream all you want to. I'm now thinking about the little poem that you taught me. A man convinced against his will is of the opinion still.
Same opinion still.
Yeah.
So control your temper. And we'll read that one again because it is so important. Remember, you can measure the size of a person by what makes him or her angry.
That is really good.
His next one is listen first. Give your opponent a chance to talk, which, by the way, you don't ever see this on these TV shows.
No.
You ever watch them butt in on each other and talk?
You can't even watch
Somebody will
it.
be talking and this other guy over here go, "Brr, brr, 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 brr."
Yeah. I mean, on some of the news channels, if they've got 2 or 3 guests, they all butt in to where it goes together. And to be honest with you, I changed the channel because you can't hear anything.
So this one's listen first. Give your opponent a chance to talk. Let them finish. Do not resist, defend, or debate. This only raises barriers. Try to build bridges of understanding. Don't build higher barriers or misunderstandings.
Sounds like Dale Carnegie is asking us to think before we enter into a conversation.
What he's saying here is put the brain in gear before the mouth in motion.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he's saying. Okay, next one. When you're in this conversation or so-called argument or whatever, here's what he says. Look for areas of agreement. When you have heard your opponent out, dwell first on the points and areas on which you agree.
And there will be some common ground, right?
There should be if you're listening.
So, in other words, you're saying the other party can't be 100% wrong. And you're looking for...
Unless they're arguing with me or you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Have mercy. I hope the wife's not listening to this. I know the answer to that, my friend.
His next suggestion is be honest. Look for areas where you can admit error or say so. Apologize for your mistakes. It will help disarm your opponent and reduce defensiveness. Period.
So it's okay to say, look, I got this part wrong.
It's okay, but it's harder than you know what.
Oh, yeah, it is, because you have to admit it, and that's the tough part.
They said the 3 words that Steve Jobs left us with that were the most important words there is, that we need to all take to heart. He said there's 3 of them. You know what they are?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know. From Steve Jobs.
Yep.
I don't know. That is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth of the matter is, most of the stuff that we're talking about, we really truly don't know. I mean...
Oh, they say, what do you mean?
My goodness gracious.
I'm backed up by they anytime I get in an argument. They said this, they said that.
They tell me.
But I don't know who they are. But
they are full of wisdom, whoever they are.
They are full of wisdom, they say. Next time anybody pulls the they say on you guys, ask them to name them.
It is, Gary, it is so hard to do what you tell us to do, which is say it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, time will tell. That is taking the approach of I'm going to wait and see before I jump up and down and declare something.
Well, anything in life that you really are whining and crying about, in time, you will find out whether it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Time will tell.
But time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know right now. No matter how convinced you are, my friends, that the most horrible things in the world has happened in this election, you don't know that. You don't know the answer.
Well,
time will tell.
When this virus came out, you said, Keith, there's no doubt this is horrible, but something good may come out of this. We may start new habits. We may, keep people alive who would have died by the flu because we start washing our hands and we start distancing and we start doing things. even out of the bad, there are some things good that can come from it.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Yes.
Okay, what's the next thing Carnegie says about arguing? Promise to think over your opponent's ideas and study them carefully. And mean it. Your opponent may be right. It is a lot easier at this stage to agree to think about their points than to move rapidly ahead and find yourself in a position where your opponent can say, "We tried to tell you, you fool, but you wouldn't listen."
Dale Carnegie has human nature down to 100%, doesn't it?
He knew it.
This guy actually knew how human beings react and all the...
How many times have I said on my shows to never fight a principal battle?
You could be wrong.
And the reason? Simple. You may be wrong. And if you are, you will cause all kinds of harm. So don't get no fight over no principle, my friends, because you could be wrong. And the reason I can say that to you is it happened to me, and I was wrong.
From experience.
From experience.
Indeed.
You learn, experience is a wonderful teacher, and a fool learns no other way.
And it hurts. It stings. You are right. Great quote.
And, we should all learn from experience, and we would if the tuition wasn't so high.
Wow. What a teacher.
Yeah. Okay, here's his next statement on that. Postpone action to give both sides time to think through the problem. Suggest that a new meeting be held later that day or the next day, better yet 24 hours later, when all the facts may be brought to bear. In preparation for this meeting, ask yourself some hard questions. The first question you need to ask yourself is, could my opponent be right? Partly right?
Yeah.
Is there truth or merit in their position or argument? Is my reaction one that will relieve the problem, or will it just relieve any frustration I have? Will any reaction drive my opponents further away or draw them closer to me? Will my reaction elevate the estimation good people have of me? Will they look down on me for being the way I am? Will I win or lose? What price will I have to pay if I win? If I'm quiet about it, will the disagreement blow over? Is this difficult situation really an opportunity for me?
There's a lot of thought process to put into something.
Mm-hmm.
But the 24-hour rule. Now, Dale Carnegie just mentioned that. You have preached that forever to our friends. Whatever it is, give it 24 hours and see what your response would be.
Right.
I had a conversation with my lifelong friend, Todd, the other day, and he and I were talking about two different subjects. I had an opinion on one subject. He had an opinion on the other subject. 24 hours later, I wrote him back and I said, I've been thinking about it. I believe you were right on your subject. And he wrote back, now that I think about it, I think you're right on yours. So 24 hours later, we both rescinded and agreed with each other.
Normally what happens, would you wait 24 hours?
Yeah, because after you think about it, it made sense.
And he ends this section with this. Opera tenor Jan Pierce, after he was married nearly 50 years, once said, "My wife and I made a pact a long time ago, and we've kept it no matter how angry we've grown with each other. When one yells, the other listens. Because when two people yell, there is no communication, just noise and bad vibrations.
Wow.
When one yells, the other one just listens."
Hard to do, because as you started this program, as a human being, the little you-know-what wants to come out in you, and you want to yell louder, and you want to yell at the top of your lungs to try to drown out the opponent, right?
And he ends it with a simple little statement. The only way to ever win an argument is don't argue. Because even if you win,
mm-hmm.
you have made someone else feel bad and mad at you. And you because of that, you have lost something. So if you're in an argument, quit arguing. Get out of it. You cannot win an argument.
Okay, so let's break this down to real simple, okay? Lady at the office and I the other day, we go to have lunch. She goes to order a hamburger. And I said, why don't you get cheese on it? There's nothing like a good cheeseburger. And she said, I don't like cheese. And I'm sitting over there with unsolicited advice saying, how could you not like cheese on your hamburger? It makes it great. Here I am talking about what I believe to be the truth when she is quietly telling me I don't like cheese. I like the hamburger. That's basically what you're telling us in all of this from Dale Carnegie is it's okay for someone to have a different opinion. It's okay for somebody to think a different way.
Did you actually give unsolicited advice after all your training?
Well, it was only because I had concern that this young lady was going to order a hamburger and not be fulfilled by not having cheese on it. I wanted her to have a good experience.
Yeah.
So I sat there and argued about why you needed cheese on a hamburger until she finally looked at me and said, I don't like cheese. And I said, oh, okay. None of my business. You're right. We do it on the simplest of things, but then we turn around and we use that same scenario on complicated things.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I fully understand why you ordered the hamburger the way you did, enjoy it.
Better yet, keep your mouth shut and let
eat your-
somebody order what they're ordering. And don't,
Keep your mouth shut and eat your own
because
hamburger.
you have to assume that they know what they're wanting to eat.
You know, but we do it.
We do it all the time. It's human nature. We can't help it.
We want to tell people all of our wisdom, whether it's about what to order for lunch or what car they should drive or what color it should be.
Somebody asked me about what kind of car they should get the other day.
Oh, no. Please tell me you said whatever kind you want.
Fortunately, I'd talked to the spouse
Oh, okay.
and had a little inkling of an idea. At which time I said, well, now I hear this is a good one. Oh, yes, that's what we've been looking.
Exactly what I wanted. So what was the tip that you gave us when people ask you for advice? The first thing we should say is, what do you think?
That's right.
Because they will give you the answer, right?
Always.
So if I was smart enough at the lunch,
And the thing about it is, the car they were looking at, in my opinion, had, if I was giving them advice, is exactly what I would tell them.
it works out.
Yeah. But
So had I been smart enough, I would have just asked her, how do you like your hamburger?
Mm-hmm.
And when she said, I like it with pickles, lettuce, and ketchup, I would have said, that's wonderful. That's a great way to order one. And then I would have still ordered mine with cheese.
Mhm.
Gary, it is amazing. But, you know, all of this that you're talking about comes back to one thing. We have to think.
it's work.
It's not easy because the nature will take over if you don't, right?
And you have to constantly fight your first instinct in any given situation. For 50 years, I've been fighting my first instinct. And your first instinct is always wrong because it's based on emotion, and emotions will kill you.
You've said emotions are crazy.
They're crazy.
You
And
make
there's-
crazy decisions.
There's
when
nothing rational about an emotion. If you have any anger or emotion, don't respond. Please, my friends, don't respond because you will get it wrong if you do.
And people prey upon your emotions to get you to make decisions while you're emotional, right?
Well, salespeople are ingenious at that, and that's why they're good at it. And I'm not saying anything bad about them because I love watching them.
Have you ever been on a vacation where you got that thing? If you go over and look at this timeshare or this condo, they'll give you free dinner or something, and then you get over there and they surround you and they hold you captive and they're beating you down. Don't you love your children? Or would you not do this timeshare? All of these things.
Well, anytime you hear the words, act now, you have to do this now, or it's going to get away from you. Don't do it. My friends, I'm going to give you that advice. If you don't act now, this is going to get away from you. You must act now.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I've said that to Gary in the past. I've got to get this because it's only for a limited time, and Gary will be like, "Oh, they'll make more." You'll be surprised.
Limited time, my foot.
Yeah, there'll be more of them. This is not going to be the last one.
And that's that's an age-old gimmick to sell something.
It goes.
You got to get it now because we're running out, and we're only going to take so many calls, and then you won't be able to get this.
Oh, and even worse, the clock starts ticking.
Yeah.
Oh, for the next 7 minutes only.
7 minutes only, you're going to get this.
Yeah, if you don't do it now.
And then they do a rerun of the show in about 2 hours.
And it's 7 minutes again. But this is professional people who, like Dale Carnegie, knows the habits of human being. Mm-hmm. And they know what our buttons are. So they push them. And they get us to act emotionally, which gets us into arguments.
But if there's one thing, my friends, you get out of this program, it's watch for. You have to act now. You got to do this today. There's no question if you don't do it today, you're never going to get it, and you're going to miss the opportunity of a lifetime. And you are missing the opportunity of a lifetime to get swindled.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, are we going to not argue or not anymore?
You know, I hope that from this program that we can pay respect to each individual's thoughts and experiences and do the thing that you asked, that we can listen and say those magical words. That's interesting. How did you come to that conclusion? Or what made you make that decision?
To a great extent, my friends, we're very similar in ways to computers. In computer, you put data in, and then you have that data to retrieve. Well, the data that's been put into the person you're talking to may be entirely different data than was put into you.
Most assuredly.
Their upbringing, the things that they've been taught in life, their life experiences,
the influence,
may be entirely different than yours. So when their opinion and thoughts on something is different than yours, that doesn't mean they're wrong. That means they're relying upon the data that they have in their brain, just like you are. Now, which one's right? You need to try to find a common ground, because they may both be right.
But if you had the experience and the influence and all the things that you're talking about of the other individual, you may have that
You probably have
still.
exactly the same opinion they had.
So if we were born in a foreign country, we would speak a foreign language. We would have foreign beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would just be, that's how it would be.
And that doesn't mean it's wrong. And that's why you don't argue.
And, you know, I'm thinking the whole time that you're doing this, the whole thing about this program is you told people a couple of years ago, we've got to be as happy as we can be for as long as we can be here. And if you do the things that you talked about from Dale Carnegie, you will be a happier person. You'll certainly have more friends.
If you can learn to embrace just the saying, it could be good, it could be bad, time will tell. It will enhance your ability to be happy, because you will not be all stressed out today. You give it time. See where it goes. Maybe the best thing that ever happened to you. But give it time. Time will tell. You don't know today. The things in my life that I've screamed and cried and whined about, in hindsight, oh, how lucky I was I didn't get my way.
Thank you, good Lord,
Thank
for
you, good Lord, for-
unanswered prayers.
Right.
I think most of our friends would agree with us on that. There's been something in their life that they thought was just horrible that turned out to be fantastic. And we've all had something that we thought was great that turned out to be horrible, like when I bought the boat.
Well, the key is to make the most of your dash, my friends. Don't criticize, condemn, and complain. Don't make assumptions. Realize you have a talent that's unique. You're special. Realize that life is so worth living. And don't spend your time arguing over little old things that don't matter. Remember, don't argue at all. You can't win. But you can be happy. It's a choice.
And you know what I love about it? I love the fact you can learn. I mean, even if you've made all these mistakes in the past, you can learn and you can alter your response, and you can be happy by doing the things that you said.
Right.
We have quite a task ahead of us this week. We are not going to enter into any argument with anybody over anything. Instead,
Not even cheese.
Not even cheese. You know, down deep, I think it's a shame what she did to that hamburger. But because I'm learning and growing and I'm changing, I'll accept the fact it had no cheese on it. You can catch Gary's television show Tuesday nights on WYMT, your CBS affiliate in Eastern Kentucky, 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. A late-night replay is in Central Kentucky on WKYT, your CBS affiliate. And if you get up early on Monday morning, you can catch us on the Fox affiliate at 6:30 to start your week. And to start your weekend, you can catch us on Friday mornings at 6:30.
Lexington.
In Lexington, Central Kentucky, yes. And as always, our radio show is here each week, and we really enjoy spending time with you. If you need to get in touch with Gary, it's GaryCJohnson.com. My friend, this has been a lot of fun.
It has. I enjoyed this.
And I'm hoping that some of our friends will discuss this program and have a good laugh over things they disagree about
that they've argued about
in the past. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for taking this time out to join us. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this same time.
Thanks for listening to Simply Life with attorney Gary C. Johnson. If you'd like to reach the Gary C. Johnson Law Firm, you can call 1-800-337-4002. Until next week, may you be safe, healthy, and happy. And most of all, remember that you're unique and a gift from God. If you'd like to receive a podcast of this week's show or any future show, go to GaryCJohnson.com and sign up today. Thanks for listening to Simply Life.
Hello, I'm Gary C. Johnson. Lawyers are spending millions of dollars asking you to give them a call. What could I say to you that would make you give us a call? How about the fact I invented the concept of judo law? How about the fact that using judo law, my team set the record for the largest verdict in the state of Kentucky? No other law firm has even come close. How's that for a reason to give us the call?
800-337-4002.